In 1991, something genuinely unlike anything else crept into movie theaters and refused to leave. The Addams Family wasn't simply a film, it was a declaration that being different wasn't just acceptable, it was magnificent. With its darkly elegant visual style, razor-sharp wit, and a family portrait so twisted it somehow felt more loving than most conventional ones, the film carved a permanent place in pop culture history. From that impossibly catchy theme to its gallery of unforgettable faces, it left audiences both delighted and slightly unsettled in the best possible way. More than 3 decades on, the question that lingers is a simple one. What became of the remarkable cast who brought this strange and wonderful family to life? Here is a complete look, updated all the way to 2026. Morticia Addams, the elegantly mysterious matriarch of the Addams household, was brought to life by Anjelica Huston. She was 40 years old during filming, investing the role with a quiet, hypnotic intensity that made every scene feel like a carefully composed portrait. Huston balanced deadpan humor with graceful authority, anchoring the film's eccentric elements and giving the ensemble a genuine emotional center. Her chemistry with the cast made the family feel unmistakably bound together despite its strangeness. Long before this role, she had established herself as one of Hollywood's most formidable talents. Today, Anjelica Huston is 74 years old, with Morticia standing as one of the most iconic roles of her celebrated career. Gomez Addams, the wildly passionate patriarch whose devotion to his family lit up every frame, was played by Raul Julia. He was 51 years old during filming, pouring explosive theatrical energy into every scene with irresistible joy. Whether delivering rapid-fire dialogue or expressing overwhelming love for Morticia, Julia created a character both larger than life and completely genuine. Their romance remains one of cinema's most joyful portraits of devotion, rarely matched on screen. Tragically, Julia passed away on October 24, 1994, at the age of 54, following complications from a stroke, leaving behind a legacy of extraordinary warmth and performances that only grow more precious with time. Wednesday Addams, the eerily composed young daughter whose blank stare and razor-sharp delivery made her the film's most unforgettable presence, was played by Christina Ricci. She was just 11 years old during filming, yet commanded every scene with control and assurance far beyond her years. With a piercing gaze and perfectly measured delivery, Ricci created a character simultaneously chilling and strangely compelling, capable of stealing scenes with the slightest expression. That breakout role became the foundation of a long and consistently bold career. Today, Christina Ricci is 46 years old, still celebrated as the actress who gave Wednesday her most enduring and definitive screen identity. Uncle Fester, the gleefully unpredictable and surprisingly tender wild card of the household, was brought to life by Christopher Lloyd. He was 53 years old during filming, throwing himself fully into the role's physical demands through exaggerated expressions and offbeat timing that made Fester completely irresistible. Beneath the character's chaos, Lloyd carefully layered in a genuine innocence and vulnerability, transforming Fester into someone audiences truly rooted for. Already carrying a distinguished legacy, this role added another unforgettable chapter to it. Today, Christopher Lloyd is 87 years old, still celebrated across generations for a career filled with performances that have left permanent marks on popular culture. Tully Alford, the slick and self-serving schemer whose appetite for personal gain drove the film's central conflict, was played by Dan Hedaya. He was 51 years old during filming, leaning into the character's opportunistic nature with a restrained and carefully calibrated performance that contrasted sharply with the theatrical excess surrounding him. Rather than competing with the film's more flamboyant elements, Hedaya relied on subtle expressions and controlled delivery to build a believable opportunist. That grounded approach gave the narrative its connective tension. Today, Dan Hedaya is 85 years old, still recognized for a long career portraying morally complex figures with quiet, compelling authority. Abigail Craven, the composed and quietly calculating schemer operating beneath a respectable surface, was portrayed by Elizabeth Wilson. She was 70 years old when she joined the cast, delivering a performance built entirely on control and understated menace, allowing the character's manipulative nature to surface gradually. Wilson's refusal to exaggerate made her all the more effective within the film's heightened world, grounding its outlandish developments in quiet credibility. Her career spanned decades across stage and screen, earning lasting recognition as a performer of genuine craft. Wilson passed away on May 9, 2015, at the age of 94, from natural causes, leaving behind a legacy of refined and memorable work. Granny, the wonderfully eccentric and theatrically vibrant elder of the Addams household, was played by Judith Malina. She was 65 years old during filming, drawing from her deep roots in experimental theater to craft a character that felt both whimsical and completely authentic. Her expressive and uninhibited delivery added a distinctive layer to the film's richly strange atmosphere, making Granny a presence impossible to overlook. Beyond this role, Malina was regarded as a pioneering figure in avant-garde stage performance. She passed away on April 10, 2015, at the age of 88, from natural causes, remembered for a lifetime devoted to bold and fearless creative expression. Margaret Alford, the sharp and expressively comedic figure caught at the center of the story's most entertaining schemes, was played by Dana Ivey. She was 50 years old during filming, constructing a character that balanced genuine awkwardness with a surprisingly touching emotional arc. Ivey brought a layered vulnerability to Margaret that elevated the role well beyond a one-note comic part. Her extensive theatrical background lent her performance a polished, rhythmic quality, ensuring even the smallest moments landed with precision. Today, Dana Ivey is 84 years old, continuing to earn admiration for a distinguished career spanning stage, film, and television with equal grace and consistency. Lurch, the towering and profoundly silent butler whose sheer presence was enough to dominate any scene, was played by Carl Struycken. He was 43 years old during filming, conveying everything through deliberate physicality and the subtlest of expressions. No dialogue required to leave a lasting impression. Struycken demonstrated that presence alone, used with patience and precision, could be just as powerful as any spoken performance. Despite minimal dialogue, his portrayal became one of the film's most instantly recognizable elements. Today, Carl Struycken is 77 years old, still celebrated for the singular and unforgettable quality he brought to this iconic supporting role. Judge Womack, the measured and quietly authoritative legal presence who helped ground the story in real-world structure, was played by Paul Benedict. He was 53 years old when he joined the cast, delivering a restrained performance that served as a deliberate counterbalance to the film's more extravagant personalities. Though not the most theatrical role in the ensemble, his presence added credibility and reinforced the stakes at key narrative moments. Benedict was admired for bringing intellectual authority to figures requiring both composure and conviction. He passed away on December 1, 2008, at the age of 70, from pulmonary fibrosis, leaving a career defined by quiet skill and understated excellence. Thing, the film's most improbable scene stealer, a disembodied hand conveying more personality than many fully visible characters, was brought to life by Christopher Hart. He was 30 years old during filming, transforming a simple concept into one of the movie's most beloved presences through precise hand movements and flawless comic timing. Hart conveyed humor, warmth, and emotional nuance without ever showing his face, making the illusion feel completely alive on screen. His background in magic made the impossible look entirely effortless. As of 2026, Christopher Hart is 65 years old, still admired for the quiet artistry he brought to this uniquely memorable role. Pugsley Addams, the gleefully mischievous younger sibling whose presence shaped some of the film's most memorably dark comic moments, was played by Jimmy Workman. He was just 11 years old during filming, capturing a child for whom the grotesque and extraordinary were simply everyday life. His on-screen connection with Christina Ricci felt natural and unforced, lending the sibling dynamic a genuine sense of shared history. Though his acting career did not extend far beyond these early years, his performance remains a warmly nostalgic highlight for devoted fans. Today, Jimmy Workman is 45 years old, living a quiet and private life away from the spotlight. Cousin It, entirely concealed beneath cascading layers of hair and communicating in a rapid, high-pitched torrent, was played by John Franklin. He was 32 years old when he joined the cast, committing fully to a role demanding pure rhythm, movement, and comedic instinct in place of any conventional performance tools. Despite being virtually invisible as a traditional performer, Franklin's energy and timing made Cousin It a genuine standout, adding inspired strangeness to an already extraordinary world. Known for gravitating toward unconventional roles throughout his career, he brought genuine creative investment to every project. Today, John Franklin is 66 years old, still appreciated for the memorable distinctiveness he consistently delivered. The employment agent, a composed and matter-of-fact presence, whose very ordinariness threw the Addams' eccentricities into sharp comic relief, was played by Kate McGregor Stewart. She was 47 years old during filming, delivering her scenes with calm, professional authority that felt completely grounded despite the surrounding absurdity. That contrast was precisely the point, and McGregor Stewart executed it with quiet precision, reinforcing just how unusual the Addams truly were by comparison. She built a steady career across television and film in roles requiring composure and reliability. Today, Kate McGregor Stewart is 81 years old, still appreciated for the consistent contributions she made throughout her working career. Little Tully, the quietly unsettling young figure whose controlled intensity hinted at something calculating lurking beneath the surface, was played by Whit Hertford. He was just 13 years old during filming, yet held his ground alongside experienced professionals with a focused composure that fit naturally into the story's darker undercurrents. His performance reinforced the manipulative atmosphere surrounding the film's central conflict, adding a subtle but meaningful layer of tension throughout. Though not among the most prominent roles in the ensemble, his contribution meaningfully enhanced the film's carefully constructed atmosphere. Today, Whit Hertford is 47 years old, his early work fondly remembered by fans of the film. Decades on, The Addams Family still feels like nothing else, a film that celebrated the beauty of being different at a time when that message genuinely mattered. Its cast gave these characters a life so vivid and so committed that no amount of time has been able to dim them. Now it is your turn to weigh in. Who was your favorite member of this extraordinary family back in 1991, and has that answer changed? If this walk through time brought a smile, or perhaps a perfectly timed Wednesday Addams stare, go ahead and like, subscribe, and join us for more journeys into the films that shaped Hollywood's most unforgettable chapters.